welcome back to Cinema Club. It's your co-host Banele and Mo with my co-host
Mkefe, and we're back.
We are. I hope you guys missed us. We're in a different, vibrant space, and I hope you come with us.
We got a new home.
We got a new home. Come with us on this journey. Today we are touching on a Joburg story. It is a movie. It is a dramedy. So it's a drama comedy, and it is filled with so much vibrance, with color, and it's on Showmax. So without further ado, we will be breaking down Kites, that is on Showmax, and it is directed by Menzi, Mzimela, co-produced by Well Done Media and Urban Brew Studios.
Urban Brew. Right. So Kites, in a nutshell, is basically a coming-of-age story that explores a group of friends just navigating their 20s really in Joburg, being young, being 20. And it's a story about a very chaotic night with very dynamic characters.
So much
It's an absolutely amazing film, and we hope you guys enjoy it. Do watch it and let us know what you think about it. Without any further ado, let's get into breakdown.
Into it. So, when we knock into this film, the first and immediate thing I notice is the beautiful shot of Johannesburg CBD.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, this is one way you can tell, okay? We're shooting in Joburg, and the nice thing is that it didn't go far from Joburg CBD. You know when there's a 100%. Shot of Joburg CBD?
Yes.
And then the story is about
something else.
No, not Bram. Lone Hill.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Away from the actual CBD, but now this one took us straight into Bram.
Exactly
and
where we're supposed to be.
We're dealing with nightlife. We're dealing with youngins. We're dealing with the youth enjoying their nightlife. And the lovely thing that I noticed was the fact that within the shots, the DOP had time to play around. So the DOP played around with the shots in the car. You can use the side mirrors, the rear view mirror, and it ties into that creativity and availability for that when you're shooting with young people, because you get 100%. To play around, because it's part of the energy of young people. You play around and to see that show, I was like, I like this is dope.
I think the scene definitely reflected the dynamics of just youth in general. So the cinematography was absolutely dynamic. You know, you had a lot of handheld shots, which really helped keep the energy there. You know, there were rarely any static shots in the film. I think what was really great to see, and and this speaks to like the quality of the production of itself, was how every shot was intentional. So from your wides, there's like play on symmetry. There's, you know, a lot of play with like rule of thirds. There's a lot of play with like the golden ratio, which are like these really intricate or like basic cinematography things for composition. Like they really paid attention to composition. And I think even also with the lighting, the thing about low key or lighting something that's very low key is a lot of the times things sort of fall off into the shadows. So, you know, if you ever watch something and then you're like, I can't really see what's going on. Or if not that, there's a lot of unmotivated lighting. And what was really cool to see with Kites was the lighting was not just very vibrant, but also very motivated. And for it to have tied in with so many principles of cine, I think those are like the building blocks for like a really amazing film. And there's like this really cool concept that I actually just recently started like looking at. It's called like checkerboard, whereby you have like a nice sequence of like light, dark, light, dark, light, dark. So if you look at the scene, most of the stills from the actual movie, you'll see that there'll be a part where, okay, you have a nice shadow area next to it. This character's like really lit, really nice. And then it goes dark again, then bright again,
like
and dark again.
Yes, that makes it look uniform.
Yes,
I like
you know,
that,
so it keeps that vibrant, but it's also really highly motivated. And the other thing that also stood out was the teal and orange that we always talk about. You know what I mean? Because it can get a bit monotonous, but seeing how they're able to sort of sprinkle some really vibrant colors, a little bit of purple, a little bit of green here. You know what I mean?
And when you mention that purple, the thing that stuck out for me was the way they utilized purple on dark skin.
Yeah.
There's a specific way and look that they carried throughout the film.
For sure.
Where they played with color, but in a way that's so appealing to the viewer. Like it makes you want to watch more. It actually looks like hanging out in Bram. Bram is very bright and vibrant, and they brought it out in the visuals of the film, and I thought that was beautifully done. There was no like moment where I was like, ish, but like I don't think these colors work, but it actually worked out in the end to a seamless hues of color instead of just blocking us with brightness just because it has to be fun. It was all well thought out, and you could see it, especially with the way you say they did.
100%.
Shade, brightness, shade.
And all, I think that the last that also really like stood out for me as well was just like in terms of lens selection. We like talk about this a bit, but the way that they isolated the characters, so you can tell that they really used a very long focal length. So it also served to kind of sort of have like a bit of a undertone or like a little bit of semiotic element to it, in terms of also when you're in your 20s, it feels like it's just you in the world and this experience is just yours.
And they did widen the background.
Exactly.
And then you have the characters visible. And I love that.
Cinematography, 10 out of 10.
Our cinematographer people. Must fund in together, guys. We're here to learn, and teach each other. I want to start with my favorite character.
Okay.
My favorite character, guys, was Vusi. Point blank. He had me cackling. He had me stressing. And I'm like, I get the type of person that he is, because we all have a Vusi in our friend groups.
For sure.
Who just wants to play, talk to girls, and just doesn't understand why people are taking things seriously.
It's very black and white.
He's just like, my guys, like, this is simple things. Where did you get this nigga? Like,
he goes from like very serious to jokester.
To
jokester of the year.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed that. He did it so effortlessly also.
Yeah.
You can see with a character when they're trying to be funny and when funniness is within them.
For sure.
And they're just a humorous person. So it came out so naturally and beautifully. And it,
I think for me, low-key, this is like cheating, because I hate it when my favorite character ends up being the main character, because I usually try to gravitate to somebody who isn't. But I think what really stood out for me with Sihle's character was the internal struggle that he had, because I think especially when you're in your 20s and you've had friends for so long and you care about them and you believe in them, and the film opens up with him, I won't spoil it, but something that might potentially make him have to leave his friend group, and they rely on him for a lot of guidance and perspective. I think for me what stood out was he was the visionary of the group, so there's obviously that conflict in the beginning and middle where they're like, so why don't you just manage us? And he's like, whoa, I didn't manage it. And then later on you find out that it's also his own internal struggle that tied into his love interest as well, where I think the biggest thing that resonated with me for him was, in as much as he knew that he knew better or he knew how to help, the thing that he couldn't reconcile with was, if I'm wrong, it's my fault. And I can't bear the weight of disappointing somebody else, even if my intentions were good. So seeing him grapple with that throughout the film,
his character
amazing.
had a lot of range. So I like that you mentioned that. Also, with the main character, you do have a lot going on in your story.
For sure.
So there's a lot of range to play with. So I understand when you say you don't want to be, biased in the fact that it's a first character. But he has a way of being still and commanding.
Yeah.
And he has this, I don't know what it is. It's like this aura of, you're gonna listen to me. He has that main character leadershipness in him. So it was so nice to see it translate into his scenes. Especially with the deeper scenes where he's just like mentally going through it and he's trying to figure out how he's gonna go through with the plans of supporting his friends or supporting himself in his future.
What do you think about Links? And it was very interesting because I think it was very interesting seeing how his character kind of had an arc as well, because it was very hard to sort of see at first, right? Because I think it was also intentional for him to kind of be this sort of selfish guy, because I think when you're the one in the group that's the talent, it's I'm taking my guys out the hood, you know what I'm saying? So seeing
and
him,
it's also a thing of I need to do it for me and the guys, like it needs to happen now. He didn't have the patience.
Because there was also that funny line where they're like, where they referenced him to Lil Yachty, and I was like, that's hilarious.
I get you, because that for me, I was like, okay, he does look like him. Yeah, it was funny.
And Bushle?
Oh, wait, I wanted to touch on you asking me about Links.
Yeah.
When I watched it for the first time, I thought it was very aggressive the way he came through with his character. But to see, he was fighting everyone. And then to see him become a person who's now seeing things working out a little. Yeah. He's seeing that his friend is trying to help out as well. He's seeing that he has community around him. He has people to lean on when it comes to working this out. They obviously stressed with this DJ thing. They need to be at the venue. They need to make money. But when he gets to a point where they're sitting in the shower
Yeah.
And he's finally listening to everyone for the first time, and he's seeing everything for what it is.
Yeah.
And then from there, there's that shift
that
we see in his character where you're like, okay, he's a lot calmer now.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
That was great.
It was really great to see everyone work seamlessly when it came to different characters coming together.
Yeah.
Callie was another favorite of mine.
Oh, yes.
Callie's range, Callie's acting, Callie's interpretation of the script had me laughing.
For sure.
I was like, I love this.
It was a nice comedic trip.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
And he liked that power play.
Yeah,
he enjoyed it a lot.
did.
And you could see it in the way
sure.
he acted and spoke. He slowed down everything, but it wasn't to a point where it's like static.
Yeah.
It was moving still.
Yeah. No? Callie's bit. I think as far as styling, seeing the way that they chose to dress Callie as, you know, you have these guys that are like very young and hip, and I think that's the thing about like Brum life or like Brum social life. You know, I'm wearing cargos right now, it's all glitz and glass. He comes in with like this Zen thing going on, herbalist, healer,
and his jewelry. I said, yes.
He's like a shaman. I was like, this is their shaman. Yeah. What did you think?
I enjoyed the way they styled everyone.
Yeah.
Because everyone looked different. Obuhle and her friend Essa looked totally different, and you could see like it's just friends.
Yeah.
Like, you know, sometimes when they're styling people and then you run out of ways to style, they did not run out of ways to style them. Even the new what is the group called?
New Wave.
The New Wave group, they still had ways to distinguish between the two guys, even though they were dressed the same.
Yeah.
Hair pulled in with a different signature look for Links compared to Unewo, who had the cleaner look.
Yeah.
So they had ways to distinguish the characters for who they are.
Yeah.
Vusi brought in this brightness into the scenes, and they dressed him in yellow.
Yellow's,
and I just feel like
everyone, so on point.
Everyone was linked, you know, when it came to storytelling and telling it in a way where everything makes sense.
Yeah, I think the wardrobe really spoke to every character's temperament.
Every character. Sihle was dressed in neutral
blazer,
colors. Neutral colors. And it spoke to the way he is as a character.
Yeah.
He was a very neutral person who's able to sit and be zen and think about things and try to figure things out without lashing out. Like the bright hair on Lynx's head.
Breathe.
Just zen. Just breathe. Yeah. I think they really did great when it came to costumes. Makeup and hair is still a part of, you know, the art side of it. And I think the hair for Lynx made me laugh when we started. I passed out of laughter. I said, oh my goodness. But he looks like a DJ, a young person in Brum, doing his thing. He's on 20-some Shinzi vibes. And he's doing his thing. And I really enjoyed that they were able to play around.
Oh, yes. Makeup. Yeah.
Because normally you'd like get a wig for a character and it's just black. They chose brown for Ubuhle.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, it works.
It works.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
That's really cool. Honorable mention to the set. Now, you guys will see this in the interview that we have with the director Menzi, but they really, really, really had to use the same venue in so many different ways. And often when you have to do that sort of crazy rigmarole as far as set design and stuff like that, it's very hard because obviously in pre-production you have your theme, you have your color palette, you have the things that are specific to the film. So for all of that to still tie in as you have to bend these worlds into submission,
and art directory were able to finesse those spaces and make do with what they had.
100%.
That's magical, and it's nice to see that people utilize the things that they have available to them. Because you also mentioned that in the interview, guys spoke about it being 6 days of shooting.
Imagine that. Just keeps coming down.
So what spaces did they utilize in one space?
So for example, the club outside, the where they were performing, and downstairs at the end, all one place. The apartments, Callie's apartment and Bushle's, one space. Yeah.
And you can tell with the passage and the way the doors work that
but they just lit it differently.
Yes.
No.
Art directory always makes things look like they're different venues, but if it's one building,
could have been 3 walls for all we knew.
They decorated it so differently.
Yeah.
But it's this one space.
Dope.
So yeah.
I think the music really spoke to the vibrancy of youth. It was always very upbeat. It almost sort of guided you into what the next scene was going to be about, whether it was going to be conflict, whether we're gonna look at the love interest, you know, because at first I was like, okay, this is gonna be a boy story, like damn, it's gonna be, and then there's a little bit of romance in there, and it really slows down, but again the pace is still moving forward. So it was really cool to see how your MMPs and sound designers really work together to sort of deliver this in a way that sort of guides you to the visuals and the story and the plot at the same time. So you'd have instances where just before Sihle is about to appear or they're about to have interaction with Sihle, they kind of like really slow it down, give a nice little you know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel the mood.
Yeah.
So they used the tempo to work with the script, is what I noticed. This was very apparent in Callie's place when he's having this power play with the boys, and the music is also helping.
It changes up,
It's working with that power play that he's using, that slowness and the aggressiveness of the guys. They're getting agitated, but also you feel that and you hear it in the music. It reminded me of that. It's that apparent sound that they use when it comes to situations where like there's a game being played here.
Yes.
And people are in a state where they need to go now, but someone is playing
has to
and
slow
toying
it down
with it.
right here.
It's that toying. It's that sound that they
and
use.
I think
and I was like, I love this.
That subtle foreshadowing, and I think in the grander scheme of things, with Callie was, I think it also kind of spoke to, I think, your 20s as well, because you have instances where everything feels like it's moving really, 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 really fast. Anything has to happen now. And truth be told, it is, right? But even if things slow down, it doesn't hurt the overall thing. And ultimately things still do work out. So I liked how they didn't go from the music and establishing Callie, and then we now see this crazy trip. But it then became a thing of, okay, these guys are tripping out, and then now you have this conversation between Callie and Sihle, and you're just like, wow.
And even during
I've experienced this somehow.
Even during that conversation, there was like an airiness to the music.
Yes.
Do you remember when he was talking about Utikoloshe?
Yeah.
And then the music became darker.
It just got more grungy.
It was cringy, and like a little scary vibe to it. And I was like, they listened very intricately to what was happening in the
100%.
scene, and then they worked with the vibe of it.
Yeah.
And that was so beautifully done. And I liked it in the beginning as well.
Yeah.
The beginning, it was giving we have high hopes for this night.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great. And then there's that rap coming
see
in.
a concert.
I was even bopping like yeah. Next thing they're fighting in the car. I say,
it's about to be a long night.
It's about to go down.
10
so
out of 10.
Music, shout out to Red Igloo, as well as Universal Production Music. They're the ones that added their spice in there. And then I will be mentioning on Monday Music Mondays, it's a new segment that's coming out with Cinema Club, who was the two artists that they used for the music throughout.
Nice.
So
dope. All right, so I think with the script, what I really liked was a lot of the metaphors that were used. So for example, with Kites, I think Kites was an amazing metaphor and motif in the actual film, from it being the title and them actually mentioning it towards the end, and at Callie's place, because I thought, these guys are about to be high as a kite, you know what I'm saying?
Or something that's got to do.
And you know, that was the most obvious thing, but I think at a deeper level, it really spoke to just the journey of your 20s, where ultimately, regardless of the anxiety that you're going to be facing, all the turmoil or what seems like turmoil, ultimately your trajectory is still up. You might have a little bit of a dip, you might still, but the wind will carry you forward.
Go with the wind.
Trust the flow.
Go with the wind and trust the flow. I like that. His script spoke to me in a way where I was like, this is South Africa.
Yeah.
And if we use this a bit more, it will show our vibrancy and our range as a country, because we have so many languages.
For sure.
We need to come to the realization that in reality, you will be Tswana and you'll speak to me. I will hear you and I'll reply in Xhosa.
Yeah.
That's just how it is. I don't know why we cringe when we see that on TV.
Yeah, because it's real.
It's real.
Yeah.
The way they used it in this film, I was like, yeah, man.
100%.
Because we are like full of range when it comes to our languages, and we do understand one another. And I think that's a very magical thing that we don't play on, and I don't know why. I understand it for period pieces, because obviously we were separated
for sure
as ethnic groups.
Yeah.
But now that we're in the new Johannesburg. We hear
the
everyone
melting
speaks so
pot
many
of
different
experience and culture.
Yes, and to see a friend group that speaks different languages, siblings speaking different languages, it wasn't weird, not one bit. Because for me, I was like, when my sister moved back to Cape Town after staying here, she came back speaking Spitori, and I was like,
what's going on here?
But she's my sibling. I'm not gonna say it's not your sibling because you speak different languages. And I think they understood that in this film, and they understood it in the creation of it, and they didn't mind the language thing. And I think we need to start creating productions where it's like not a thing when it comes to this person speaks this language, so the other character needs to speak the same.
100%.
That was dope for me.
Yeah, no, I think just wrapping up script, I think what was a really dope footnote for me was just how was a very authentic story again to the 20s. I think that's really what's going to resonate a lot with like a lot of people, because there was no instance where you forgot about the other characters. Like it really blended all in together. You know what I'm saying? Yes, you can have a super chaotic night where it's like the longest freaking thing. There's a crazy side quest. You have to run into your ex, and I mean, sure, that's Joburg too. You know what I mean? So you could really tell that the story and film just came from a very authentic place, and I think that came across really well in the film.
And it was authentic to South Africa because there was so much humorous moments where I'm like, this is a South African thing.
Yeah.
Nicknaming people, that's a South African thing, guys. I passed out with laughter. I was like, they just find things that you're wearing. They wear orange glasses, and I'm like, this is a South African script.
All right, so now our favorite part. We gotta rate the film.
Film rating out of 10. I want to give it a 9.5 because I feel like they used almost all the stops to ensure that this creative process, translates to its authenticity. It translates to what's truly happening, and it really did. The names of spaces were the actual names.
Yeah.
The people were actual people. Yeah. And you said it was a true story.
Yeah.
You spoke about
some
it in
of the
interview.
characters are actually real.
I feel like the use of reality and making it a thing where youths can be like, I relate to that because I've lived like that.
For sure.
I've seen that space. That is a space where this happens. Yeah. I think that's a really, really, really dope way of creating films. Yeah. And making films that make sense to the youth, because we a generation that doesn't really sit down and focus on things. We like things that pull us in, and this film really pulled people in, and I think that was really well done on their part. For
me, and this is crazy, this is so crazy, right? I think this is the first 10 I've given out on the show.
And you know what? They deserve it. Because 6 days to shoot this gracious,
exactly. And I think that's what really pushed it over the limit for me. I think what really stood out for me with this film, and as much as there were all those hurdles that they had to contend with, they were very intentional about creating art.
They were.
And that's what this film really was for me. It was art. And, with that sort of time crunch, to have your characters, your PD, your art director, all that tie into each other, and still have Cine still be so intentional in terms of all these things that we usually use and recognize when we watch something. For me, it was like honestly a very artistic piece. And I think what we kind of saw in the last couple of years in SA is, I think we were focusing a lot more on the narrative and the story and the plot, that it almost sort of drifted from the whole thing being a holistic art piece, you know what I mean? So I don't know if they did a couple film festivals, but I think
every department worked with the next.
Yeah.
And it seems like they had
seamless
more days.
Handoff.
Yeah, it was a very seamless handoff, and I like that.
10 out of 10.
So that's our conclusion to today's breakdown and analysis of Kites. I hope you guys run and go watch it. It's very vibrant, it's very funny, and it's full of a lot of drama and ups and downs, but we can all relate to it because it's everyday problems. It's everyday problems of the people who are running around doing hoppings and DJing and getting these different venues where you need to make sure things work out and they just don't. And I think it's a very nice, vibrant youth story.
There you have it, guys. It's been an amazing installment of the Cinema Club. Do catch us again next month with our next film. See you later.